Hello everybody, it's James, and on behalf of Neptic Fathers, I'm going to be bringing you all another review. And today I thought I'd talk about commonplace books. So commonplace books are basically a book that somebody keeps over the course of their life, and they jot down quotes in it. It's not so much like journaling where it's like introspection and stuff like that, but it's you read through something, you find a quote you like, you copy it down. I'm using it also to not only copy down quotes, but also to like paraphrase books, write page numbers in books that I read of important things. And so then that way, after I get done reading, like say a 500-page book, I don't forget everything that I've read. One of the earliest forms of the commonplace book was Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. And also during the Renaissance, Erasmus also repopularized the form. So the favorite company of these commonplace books that I buy is Peter Popper Press, and that's Pauper for Popper Press. And they are an American company based out of New York. And so they got fantastic cover designs. I like the ones that tend to look like they're from medieval Europe, or this one like this that's I'm not sure if it's an Arabic love poem, Persian love poem, I can't remember. It's some sort of love poem that's around the border here, but something that's like a fancy carpet design, that sort of stuff. And some of these are paintings. And then like this one is, I don't know if this is from the Lenzenfarn Gospels, but I think it's from some Celtic illumined manuscript. And I really like all these. High quality pages, they won't bleed, and I'm actually writing in these with fountain pens, and the fountain pen ink won't bleed through because it's nice quality paper. And also it's wide ruled, so if you have a larger size nib, if you're using fountain pens, you should be able to get by okay with these. So I do have a few other ones as well that I use. I tend to use these smaller ones like this, and I keep them in my pocket. And in that way I always have a book on me that I can jot notes down into. And also, then if I need to make reference to it while I'm not around my book stuff, then I can actually just grab that in my pocket. And then there's other ones like on Amazon. This one here, Paper Blanks is I think the Paper Blanks. And this one's actually got a neat little clasp on it. And this is also fairly thick paper as well. And then you got tons of other ones that you can get, like these at Christian bookstores, and I think even at Walmart you can get journals like this that you can use for your commonplace book, and they're not too expensive. The Peter Popper Press books, currently the ones that I've been buying are all around like the $12 mark, and I really like them a lot. So ideally, I was going to get into calligraphy, and I actually picked up a calligrapher's Bible here, and this is kind of nice because it'll give you like the different ways to write the lettering that you do. So like in this one, it shows you how to do like unseal and all sorts of other calligraphy. So I figured that I'll go over the fountain pens that I've purchased, so that way you don't have to buy a ton of them. And I can just kind of give you a rundown through if you're interested in doing this sort of stuff. I bought two different brands. I bought Lamy and I bought Jinhao. So I got some Lamy pens. This is the Joy, and this one I have a 1.5 calligraphy nib in it. And then I have this one here, which is the Lamy Safari, which is one of the most popular fountain pens on the planet. I actually used the Lamy cartridges also with this. I didn't fill them up with ink from a bottle. And then I got the Jinhao, the X750s, and I've replaced the nibs on some of these. They come with a medium-sized nib, which is about almost too large for these commonplace journals. It's like small enough, but it's very large writing. So if you actually want to have large writing on the commonplace journal, this is the medium nibs, about as big as you can go for wide spacing or margins on your paper. Okay, so this one here, this is a Jinhao 71A, which is my favorite. And the reason why it's my favorite is because it has a recessed nib in it. And I don't know if you can see it that far away, but you can actually hold this right up to the tip of the pen without getting ink all over your fingers, which is the way I normally tend to write. And this is also extra fine. I like the extra fine tips for just normal writing or cursive. And then I got this one here, which I don't think I wrote this one down, but this one is just a Jinhao, and it has what's called a fude nib on it, and that's a bent nib, and that allows you to write different sizes and with one tip. So like on this, I made a little example here where I wrote large and large with the fude nib, and then I wrote small and down here. So you can compare the two. And then this is the 1.5 nib here and the 1.1 nib. So the 1.1 nib would be small enough that on a journal you'd be able to use it and try to practice calligraphy while you're taking your notes of your book. I will say with this Jinhao 51A, which is my favorite, it does take a little bit of getting used to. You kind of just got to hold it just right in order to get it to write buttery smooth. But it does write buttery smooth. And it also writes really dark. And I like it quite a bit more than the gel pens that I've used. Okay, the last one here that I have not shown yet is the Jinhao. This is the 59 or 599. And this is basically a Lamy Safari clone, and I've replaced the nib on this, which I think this came with an extra fine nib, and I replaced it with a fude nib. And you can replace both the X750 and these 599s with fude nibs if you prefer the fude nibs. And I find that they seem to be higher quality than the nibs that come with them. So I thought I'd give you guys that information. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Should mention on some of these, I have to fill it up with ink. So I use Waterman's on the refillables, and then I just use the Lamy cartridges on the other ones. But I think that the Waterman's just fine for what I'm doing, and so are the Lamy cartridges as well. So this is James. Until next time, I'm signing out.